Marcus was 31 and worked as a sous chef at a small restaurant in Miami. He'd studied hard to get where he was and had finally earned the shot at running his own kitchen one day. This opportunity couldn't be wasted. Every night before tying his apron, he ran the same silent ritual he'd had since high school. He'd close his eyes for 2 seconds and repeat to himself the 3 most important things to do. I can't burn the main dish tonight, I can't fall behind on tickets, I can't lose my temper with the line. It felt like discipline, it sounded like focus, especially this week when he had a real shot at being promoted to head chef. All he had to do was get through 2 nights of the owner watching the service. But something never added up. It had been a long time since he'd had a calm night. Something always happened to throw him off. An order came out late, a customer complained, his voice came out sharper than it should have with the team. And every night he repeated to himself, try not to fail again, just try not to fail again. Marcus started to think it was bad luck or lack of talent, or a lack of control over his own head, and this was the suspicion that hurt the most. He didn't know that every night he was running the same white bear experiment. Don't think of a white bear. Seriously, don't picture it. Don't picture the thick fur, the heavy breathing, the slow way it moves across the ice. Yeah, it doesn't work. We can't not think about it because that experiment showed that the brain can't process a negation without first building the thing it's negating. To not think of something, it has to think of that something first and only then try to erase it. And between building and erasing, the image sticks. Now swap the bear for something else, for I can't screw this up tomorrow, for try not to be anxious, for don't mess this up again. So when Marcus said to himself, try not to fail again, he didn't see the calm. He saw the mistake, he saw the pressure he creates over himself, he saw the mess, sharp, vivid, exactly the thing he swore he wasn't going to do. And that's exactly what happened. On the night of the first evaluation, everything spiraled out of control like a chain of dominoes. The fillet was overcooked, an order went to the wrong table, the chicken came out dry. His coworker and friend Luke noticed Marcus was off his game and clearly on edge, so he pulled him aside. Hey man, what's going on? You seem tense today. Marcus said, I don't want to screw this up, I can't lose this opportunity, I don't want to embarrass myself, I've made way too many mistakes tonight. And Luke said, Marcus, the more you focus on what you don't want, the more your brain hunts for signs of the very thing it's afraid of finding. The more afraid you get of making a mistake, the faster you notice every small slip. Not because you mess up more, but because your brain is watching, constantly waiting for the mistake to show up. Marcus lived this every night without a name for it. The more he told himself, I can't lose my patience, the more sensitive he became to every delay, every slow response from the team, every small excuse to lose the exact thing he was trying to hold onto. The mind works like a spotlight. Name the mistake and the spotlight swings to the mistake. It doesn't matter how many don'ts you stack in front of it. And Luke kept going, remember why you're here. What do you actually want? Stop focusing on what you don't want to do or to happen and start focusing on who you want to be. It was the first time in months Marcus had asked himself the question in the affirmative, and he realized he couldn't answer right away. He could list in vivid detail everything he feared, but naming what he desired was harder, almost a muscle that had never been used. That's common. Most of us know in exact detail what we're trying to avoid, but can barely name what we're actually chasing. But there's a shortcut, and Marcus stumbled into it without meaning to. Use what you already know about what you don't want and flip it. I don't want to burn the dish, so I want to control the cook time with full attention. I don't want to lose my patience, that means I want to pause before I respond. Our brain works by contrast. It sees something more clearly when it stands out against something else. That's why sometimes it's easier for us to figure out what we want after naming what we don't, as long as we take the next step. Flip the image inside out and let it stand there in your mind, without having the shadow of the negation attached to it. On his way home, Marcus decided, I need to stop thinking I'm going to screw up. I've come a long way, I'm ready for this, I'll just try to do better. When he got home, his roommate Daniel was heading out to the gym and called out to him, Marcus, are you coming this time? Without even considering, Marcus answered, "I know I said I'd try to come with you, but I'll try next time. Today I had a really rough night." Looking a bit disappointed, Daniel replied, "If you're still trying, the action is still up for debate." Try is a strange word. It promises action, but it keeps a door open for the exit. When someone says, "I'll try," the body already knows there's a version of this where it doesn't happen, and that version is acceptable. Marcus realized his whole plan had been to try not to get irritated, try to hit the timing. And the problem is, every attempt carries along with it a small silent permission to fail. Because trying, by definition, is a negotiation still in progress, not a closed decision. Our nervous system understands this with a clarity the conscious mind is too impatient to admit. Marcus would swap an "I can't" for an "I'll try" and land right back in the same place, the hot kitchen, the burning dish, the voice louder than he meant it to be. The next night, the night of the final evaluation, Marcus sat alone in the empty kitchen. He looked at the whiteboard where the team had scribbled the last day's orders, full of crossed-out lines, cancellations, "Don't do this, don't forget that." And he asked himself, what do I actually want to happen here tonight? Not what do I want to avoid, but what I actually want. Marcus rewrote his own ritual. Instead of "try not to fail again," he started saying, "I'm going to taste the sauce twice before it goes out. I'm going to take one breath before I respond to any delay." What Marcus was doing was actually proved by research. People who decide exactly when, where, and how they're going to act are far more likely to actually act than people who just wish for an outcome. It's not that language on its own has the power to make things happen. Rather, it has the power to shape the way we perceive, think, and interpret the world. And that's how it influences our behavior. That was the night everything clicked. Marcus worked calmer, more present, and things flowed. His concrete sentences replaced "don'ts" and "I'll try." That's what actually helps the brain focus on the outcome and reach it, while cutting down the anxiety, frustration, and tension built up around the things you don't want, the things you're just trying to avoid. At the end of the shift, his boss, the restaurant's owner, was waiting for him at the first table. He smiled and said, "This kitchen is going to be in good hands. Congratulations, my new head chef." Marcus went back to the same kitchen under the same Friday night pressure. What changed was the image he carried into that space before he started. What he learned from all of this changed the way he perceived the world. It's not willpower, it's direction.
If this reflection resonated with you, like and subscribe to The Arise. New reflections await.